That's our
Island
hotel.
of Bones. And that will remain our name.
South
It was
Beach.
spent until the English settlers came along and simply mispronounced it and mutated
Where we're staying.
it all the way from its original form, Cahueso, to the present Key West. Cahueso, Key West, Cahueso, Key West. Sounds similar. Looks like the westernmost point in the Keys. Close enough. But this is not the westernmost, but it's a beautiful home across the street to the left. And it's old home of a guy named Judge Vining Harris. And this is the end of Duval Street as well. If you guys are going to do a Duval crawl, wind up all the way down here. And there is a little beach too. It's not much of a beach, but you know, take a little swim if you like. But this is no longer the southernmost house. The current one is down the street. Beats it by a full 18 inches. And it's the old home of Thelma Strable, a writer who wrote about our wrecking industry in her novel Reef the Wild Wind, which later became a movie starring John Wayne and Ray Milland. You can see the southernmost house to the left behind the wall, on the southernmost fire hydrant, southernmost artist. How you doing?
Right here.
How many times am I going to hear that and keep believing you, man? And if you look on the left, you can see the southernmost Harley Davidsons in the continent of the United States. There they are. And there's the southernmost Harley guys, for the southernmost Spring Breakers. Take a picture, folks. Have fun. Take a picture of the southernmost Harley guys. Take a picture. Don't show that to my parole officer, man. The southernmost tour guide to Key West. Thank you, my man. Those are the southernmost Harleys. I am. Talk to Dad about that one. All right, man. But if you have your cameras out, now would be a good thing as well. Because when we go by the intersection, get a nice picture of the lighthouse. Get a palm. And he's moving. Fantastic. Now keep those cameras out though, because here's the Hemingway house too. Hey, dude. Now behind the brick wall on the right-hand side, there's the Hemingway house. And Hemingway, his second wife, actually purchased this home back in 1931.
Not yet.
And he lived here for about 10 years with 2 children,
There's
about
the
15
Hemingway house.
cats or so. About 40 or 50 of those cats still live in the house today. Most of them have 6 toes. And it's the same way with this house in Havana. 6-toed cats running all over the place. It takes about a half an hour or so to take the tour. Then you can wander around the grounds as well. That's my house. My mother came down to visit this past July, or January. She didn't like the room waking her up at 1:30 a.m. on her vacation island, so we got church. Hey! And this is the first church built for the black community on the island, here in the left-hand corner, going up. Beautiful home. You'll see that on the front about books of Key West or whatever. It's a beautiful home architecturally, maybe.
Calvin Klein's house.
And the right couple galleries on Duval Street you might like his work. And this guy on the left, watch out for this guy.
Yep.
This
Well,
is
I don't know if that's where we went, but it looks
nice
like it
little local
does.
spot. Headquarters for the Commonwealth Revolution.
Flipped it off.
Every year.
And a double exposure to her house.
Yeah.
And a little lazy way. That's a nice little street here, nice little shops. Have a look at some of the schooners. And see this little white concrete block ahead of us to the right? You wouldn't think anything about it, right? But this is where Jimmy Buffett does his recordings. It's a sound studio.
Okay, Sheila, you hear that? There's Jimmy Buffett's sound studio. We'll have to walk down here and take a picture.
How you doing, gang? Kinda cool. Alright, you guys got a sweet tooth? Noel by Front Duval Street. And on the left-hand side, if you look up at the picture of the man there in the thing, that's an old guy who used to live this and own this store called Kermit. And if you look to the left, this we have our only Madame Tussauds, and the old guy by the name of Kermit used to run this shop. Look out, folks. It's not a minute. Patient break here. Give you guys a chance to stretch out, relax. Well, you got time. These facilities are available for you. And if you want to grab an ice cream, piece of key lime pie, anything like that, you're more than welcome to. And bring it back on board with you.
There's our picture, one of them. That's me and Becca. in case you couldn't tell. And over there is me and Beck and Craig, in case you couldn't tell.
I'll try to point out some little things that you might not otherwise have noticed here along Main Street, because there is a lot of history to the place as well. Down the street to the right, though, just for your own information, that's where they got the glass bottom boats. And if you want to go out to the reef, but you don't want to go snorkeling for whatever reason, the glass bottom boat's really not a bad option. You can see a lot. They hover right over the reef, and they also narrate and tell you all about what you're looking at. All the different fish and coral and
I don't know
everything.
what you're seeing.
And
That's not mine.
the big old bank on the right-hand side, it's always been a bank. Since 1891, it was set up by Cuban cigar workers. And that big old balcony, that was hand-carved by one man. It took him 5 years to accomplish that. Made it out of solid mahogany wood. Yeah. That was the bank that was actually robbed in Hemingway's novel, To Have and Have Not. Main characters robbed that bank and tried to make their way to Havana. Had kind of a tragic ending to the story, but it's a good read. It's got a lot of local references, so if you're looking for something for you right down here, we'll spoil the ending for you. And the rest of the Bagatelle restaurant to the left, that is where they filmed The Rose Tattoo, the Tennessee Williams play made into a movie. Also written here. Tennessee Williams, longtime resident of Key West. And of course the landmark on Duval Street, Old Sloppy Joe's Bar. Ahead of us, across the street in the left-hand corner. The original Sloppy Joe's is actually down the street to the right, on Green. It's called Captain Tony's today. And the original bar moved 1933 to 1937. It moved to its present location over a rent dispute. $1 a week. Until Russell refused to pay, so he packed up everything and moved it on over. It was in the original Sloppy Joe's where Hemingway met his third wife. He wound up running off to Havana with her, and where he wrote Old Man of the Sea, his Nobel Prize winner. But he eventually divorced that third wife and found himself a fourth wife, who eventually came back here after his death in 1961.
That seafood restaurant.
She came and went into Sloppy Joe's, actually, the current one, and that's where she found the current manuscript of The Islands in the Stream, which she later had published. Silent stereo.
There's the bowl.
Be careful who you're waving at up there. The rooftop of this place is clearly optional. Oh, the Garden of Eden. I'll go there. Well,
There you go, Craig.
welcome to Hewitt. The bowl, the whistle, the garden, Old Beachin, Sloppy Joe's, Rum Runners, all these places are packed in down here. Fat Tuesdays. They'll block off the roads for about at night time.
So that's
There's still some
Block off the roads
here.
at night time.
Nice and lots of crafts around. Some good theater as well. If you look
garden
behind the Hard
cafe
Rock,
where we ate.
behind the Key West Women's Club, there's a place called the Red Barn Theater. And they put on a good production. Kelly McGillis' mom actually organizes a lot of the theater in town. And they do good work. Waterfront Playhouse, Mallory Square, is also doing a nice show right now. If you look to the right, there's a white building with green trim. That's the oldest building on the island. Built back in 1829. Survived all the fires and hurricanes. And it's a records museum today. It was old home of a wrecking captain, Captain Francis Watlington. And some nice memorabilia there, not only to the wrecking industry specifically, but also to life in general in the early 1800s here on the island. And the big old yellow building on the right, back in the 1800s, this was a little schoolhouse. If you look up on the second floor, the old school bell is still up there. Little elementary kids used to come to school here on Duval. And to the left, once again, is this big old church, St. Paul's the Episcopal. And it's typical to go with the stained glass windows, but they are phenomenal here. Nose in there, you won't forget it. And the big old pink building on the right-hand side, this is the La Concha Hotel. And if you guys like a little different perspective on the island, they have a rooftop bar and cafe, which you can go to. You don't have to stay in the hotel. Don't be shy. Just go in there, press a little button that says the top. It'll bring you all the way up. Get a good look around the island. You can watch the sunset from up there. And Tennessee Williams also stayed here in La Concha. It was in fact here in La Concha where Tennessee Williams wrote a streetcar named Desire. And you were looking for Margaritaville? You got it, Margaritaville. On the right-hand side, just have this little truck with the back window open. There she is. Give me up its place. Grab yourself a margarita, sit down at the pan bar, have a cheeseburger in paradise. Whatever you'd like to do. And to the right, got a big old yellow building. This is San Carlos Institute. Now, that's where it goes like a little bit more history. About the Cuban Revolution, Spanish-American War. Many of the speeches from Jose Marti are all, they're original and also, translated for you in English. And the Strand Theater on the left-hand side is today Ripley's, believe it or not, little auditorium. And it was actually Ripley himself who first declared Duval Street to be what it truly is, the longest street in the world, which stretches all the way from the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. Believe it or not? It's about a mile and a half. And we started at the 100 block. If you went all the way up to the 1600 block, that's where that original southernmost house is. And we're right now entering the 600 block. Now, it might not be believable at this point. You look at Duval Street today, but in the late 1970s, the Navy pulled out of here. And this town became a ghost town. You could roll a bowling ball down Duval Street, you wouldn't hurt a fly. We depended on them for about 40 years economically, and when they left, it was devastating. But they had a little idea. They began selling and buying these buildings here along Duval Street for as little as $1. Putting them in the storefront. Anything useful, basically, that would bring people, tourists to the island. And as you can see, tourism sustained us for the past 20, 25 years, and we're very grateful for it, of course. But the original island here at Key West, the city anyway, ended here, Angela Street. Now, there was landmass ahead of us, but it was undeveloped. Everything that we'd be going through right now, this is all the original city. Everything in front of us, it was like mangrove trees and things. And the further up Duval Street you go, you start to get out of that madness and confusion down there with sloppy joes and everything. And you get into more like smaller places. There's a brick oven pizza here to the right of Mango's. A good cocktail, watch the world go by. Little art galleries, shops, local restaurants, meals there, local favorite. Although nobody goes there anymore, it's too crowded. There's no guitar set. But the Wiling Gallery to the left. What about that big old Wiling Wall? Alexander's Art Gallery, just on and on, further up you go. Some nice gingerbread trim in the left-hand corner here. If you look up on the second floor, little marlins carved in up there. And that is a little bit too close for comfort. All right, well, carry on up to Wall Street. Why not? Well, let's take a look.
And the
Okay.
museum.
Full mosaic card to the left as well. There we go. I went down here once on tour. I think there's a nice eyebrow house down here.
And that's the rest of Duval.
Since we're going to miss that little street there. Got a few in. How you doing? Check this little beige house out to the right. Come in. Go this way, actually. Back, we're down around the cemetery. This is what I wanted to get to. Just never gone this way. The southernmost point, the soft sand over there. However, the hurricane of 1846 changed all of that. There was a story which came out of it, which was just shocking. It's about a doctor who lived along Duval Street. And Duval Street floods anyway on the hurricane. It runs south to north, kind of downhill. So some high winds, some flooding any time of the year, and you get a good tidal flow going down. Hello. But with all these bodies floating around, the houses, trees being ripped up and blown around the island, people thought it was the apocalypse. There was a guy who lived on Duval Street who was a doctor. Thankfully, actually, turns out. And he saw this madness and confusion going on around him, and this gigantic coffin went floating straight by his house. And he saw the absolute terror, the fear in his children's eyes. And without a thought of himself, he rushed on out into the streets, and he started pouring Robecca and NyQuil all over it. Eventually, that did stop the coffin. Yeah, we're stretching for material here. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. Behind them. And there's a little Hunt's Lane up here, actually. Yeah. They used to make those clay roofs over their knee, the hand carved ones. Sneak in another story. Because we're going to be going by the apartment quickly later, but I'm not gonna, there's like 7 or 8 restaurants along the wharf. And I don't recommend any one in particular, because they're all pretty good. What I recommend is that you walk along the wharf here and have a look at those special boards. What's left of the fleet is up on Stock Island, next to you up from here, about 4 miles away. And to the left, there's that white house in the corner with the red shutters. That's the house with the red doors. And in the days of the strippers, that was a bar. But it was not only a bar. It was considered to be the bar. The roughest bar on the Gulf Coast. So, large mansions, what have you. I just so happen to have a little clip. Anyone ever heard that before? Nice house. I believe that, for a couple bucks, I'll let you have a look through. William Curry was Florida's first self-made millionaire. The Curry family line is very prominent here in Key West. He was involved in the wrecking industry as an auctioneer, buying and selling the goods coming off the ships. Dr. Joseph Yates Porter was a yellow fever doctor here, considered to be the leading expert in the United States. And he was born in that house in 1847, died in the very same bed in 1927. And one of his relatives, Jessie Porter, lived here on the left-hand side of what is now the Heritage House Museum. And she was good friends with the poet Robert Frost, who lived behind the house in a small cottage. Look down the little driveway here. There's a small green cottage out back. That's the Frost cottage. Stuff. And the birthplace of Pan American World Airways is here in the left-hand corner. Pan Am flew the first international commercial flight in the United States. They flew from here to Havana back in 1927. That's their first ticket booth. And it's now owned by Kelly McGillis, Top Gun stock. A huge a little restaurant. She acts as hostess, she's in town, not off working somewhere. But if you look through these little pillars to the left, as we turn here, those are the presidential gates once again. And if you went through there about a block and a half, that's where you find Truman's little residency. Total, about 175 days. And it was thought that he came down here to relax and go fishing. That was a lie. He came down here to play poker, smoke cigars with the boys. His old poker table's still there. And Harry the Human, they called him. Couldn't fish to save his life. His wife, Bess, she could fish. Harry, useless. How you doing, gang? And to the right, the Audubon House in Tropical Garden. John James Audubon, the famous naturalist. It's a beautiful home, nice gardens out back. You see a lot of wedding receptions and things taking place here. But John James Audubon, many of his original works of art are still on display in there. A little historical value. And directly ahead of us is a big old brown tower. That's the Shipwreck Historium. And if you are interested in seeing that, I do have a whole stack of dollar-off coupons. They're on the floor right now, but trust me, I have them. And what they do is they dress up in old-time costumes. They all have the old days of the wrecking industry. And you can climb to the top of that tower, have a nice little lookout. And this is all Mallory Square. Now, you can see it's a little overcast today. But don't be afraid. It doesn't matter. We'll still have a sunset celebration, even if you can't see the sun for 1 single second. It's really not even the point. You do get some beautiful sunsets here, that is true. But the whole idea is to come on out here and celebrate the day, kick off the night. And you got artists and performers that come on out here and help you do that. And they have all sorts of performers. Guys that have cats they've trained to jump through rings of fire, guys that juggle fire, guys that juggle cats on fire. You name it. It's all good. Come on out here and grab yourself a cocktail and ice cream, have a good time. And there's a little cubic place to the right. They'll have some salsa music going if you want to kick up your heels. Chamber of Commerce, if you have any questions for them. Shipwreck Historium, Sponge Market, Show Warehouse, Conch Fritters, Aquarium, you name it.
That's Mallory Square.
This is Mallory.
Okay, here's Mallory Square before the crowd really shows up. All the performers are just arriving to set up. There's a 360. You can see them coming in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, now it's back to zero. I've undone the 360. Here we are at the southernmost point.
Okay, smile.
And there's our bike.
Hey, I'm filming.
Right now, I'm the southernmost Carly in the United States.
There we are. Let me turn that off. There we go. Turn off the backlit. There we are by the ocean.
On the ocean. Key West.
There they are on the ocean, Key West. Just about sunset, and across from our motel I noticed a new bride and her groom. And I'm sorry, at full zoom that's as steady as I can hold it. I know it's not very steady.
Is that a preacher with them? Is he marrying them now?
Could be. But the way this is jumping around, we'll never be able to tell. Yeah, that helped a little bit. Yeah, they're taking pictures. At least when the guys have a camera. I could think of worse places to get married. That shows you where they're at. And like I said, the sun's just going down. And it's sunset on the ocean. I could live right here. You know it? There's Becca and Craig looking out over the water. There's our hotel again. There's our bikes right in front of our open door. Well, we've been up this morning enjoying this pitiful view outside the window of our room. I'm in the room right now. There's Becca and Craig out there at the bikes. And just hardly anything to see out there. We're in room 111. Pretty nice little room. We're getting ready to go bike riding. There's out the door. I'm going to go show you the pool. There's our palm tree. And there's our pool. And gargoyles. Becca says she's going to get in it sometime while we're here. I don't know if I will or not. You have to get wet to get in there. And we're down that direction. 6 foot 8 inches on this side. And 3 foot 2 inches on that side. Well, it's spring break, and here's a spring breaker taking a little nap. I'd say a little too much to drink. It's right in front of the La Concha Hotel. We're getting ready to go up on the roof. Okay, there's our bikes parked on Duval Street. We're on the La Concha Hotel, Holiday Inn. That's Duval. Right on down. Not very crowded right now. Everybody's still sleeping in from last night. It's only about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a distance shot. Well, sorry about the jumping. And you'll see a couple of cruise ships out in the harbor. There's one. Oops, sorry. I looked away a minute. And there's the other one. And I'm zoomed in pretty good. You can see as I zoom out that they're in the distance. And there's Beck and Craig looking out over the back. I'll go back over there in a minute. Okay, there's the pool at the Holiday Inn. Becca says it's a small ass pool. There's the sunbathing area, and this is looking out the back. Beck and Craig. There's a lighthouse they went up earlier. I just sat at the bottom. I've already been up it a few times. And that's the view from the Concha up on the roof. There's the one cruise ship. There's the other. Okay, here's Duval Street from the other side of the Holiday Inn, looking up toward the 500 block and 600 block and on up that direction. You talk about a vantage point. Right there's the Atlantic. And right down Duval. There is the Gulf of Mexico. Or the Pacific, I'm not sure. The other side anyway. And then there's the north side of the island. It looks cloudy in these, I know, but in actuality it's been sunny and hot. 86 degrees last time I saw a thermometer. Okay, we're in the cemetery. There's Beck and Craig. There's the bikes. We're going to walk around and look at some of the tombstones. Everybody's buried above ground here just like New Orleans, because if you bury them underground, when they have high tides and full moons or a little bit of rain, the bodies float up. Okay, here's the famous "I told you I was sick" plot that they always tell you about. She was a kleptomaniac. Is that what they're called? It goes to the doctor all the time? Okay, well, she was one of them hypochondriacs. And so on her tombstone, she had put on there, "I told you I was sick." Okay, this is the Jewish part of the cemetery, and the stones are put on the graves out of respect for the dead. We don't exactly know how they got started. That's just what it says in the book. And it's, well, let me go to the other side. That one's kind of sunny. I'll go down to that one. There you go. She was afraid of flooding, so that's how they put her casket up off the ground. Said she had a terror of flooding. Well, we couldn't find Sloppy Joe's. We was in the area, just couldn't locate it, but we thought this one was interesting. Figured it was a pilot. Here's the pool in the area at the southernmost motel, which is owned by the same people that own ours, and it's right next door, and we can come over and use their pool. Although they're not allowed to use our pool because we're special. Actually, I don't know if they can use our pool or not. Just sounded like something I wanted to say. But our pool's bigger and better. And Becca hasn't got in it despite the fact she said she's going to. Is that right?
Yes, that's
And that's where we was at, the southernmost motel. There's some spring breakers having a good time, doing their version of a Chinese fire drill. Okay, we're at Mallory Square. It's 5:56, I think about a half an hour before the sunset. And there's clouds that's kind of covering the sun, so I don't know if we're going to get a sunset or not. I'm going to hit the bathrooms, call home, and then I'll mosey out in there into the crowd. There goes Beck and Craig into the crowd, checking it out. There we are, Mallory Square. Silverman's already done. There's one of the performers. Some of the vendors. Another performer.
They don't know me, I'm a native son. Well, I'm the train they call the city.
More vendors. More vendors. Another performer.
Wants to do his track. Kind of
Another
weird, but
performer.
he wants to do it. Who am I to tell him not to? He wrote it. He takes full responsibility for it.
Dogs.
Are you picking
On top of his head,
More vendors.
right before the very eyes. And the crowd was absolutely wonderful. He's the loot sausage.
That's cute. Anything to get the people's interest. And go ahead. Palm critters. Palm reader.
You know when somebody comes in your life, and say, well, that guy's that's waiting to happen.
Don't let him have all he needs, put the lighter
And
down.
I'm not quite sure what he's doing.
He's going to be juggling. He's standing on 7 milk crates. He's going to be juggling 3 torches.
Daddy,
He's standing on a bunch of milk
He's
crates.
standing on 7 milk crates. He's juggling 3
take one torch,
torches.
put one solid toss.
More vendors.
That torch, straight up into my
Getting
hand.
kind of
No
crowded
spin.
crowd-wise. Might not be able to make it through there. Seems to be more almost professionally prepared things here. Photo frames, candles.
You guys leave. I don't. Honestly.
Here's your old-time vendor. It's like anything else. There's $1 to be made. Pros are going to move in. Funnel cakes.
I handcrafted glass beads. Actually, I got my own glass.
I'm not sure what's going on here. The dog's picking up dollars and putting them in the thing.
No Billy Ballet payment!
Doing good.
Went on here. I'm not sure what went on here. There's a bunch of knives and juggling, and he's over there collecting money. Barbecue kebabs. More vendors down here. On down towards the very end. If you wanted it, you could get
I
shrimp.
wonder what cheese is these. It's like, I'm gonna smell this fire.
And more vendors, and vendors, and vendors. Around behind, little baskets, southern snowflakes, and tarot card reading. And there's Beck and Craig over getting ready. to watch the sunset. There's a guy on the milk crates. I'm not sure what he's up to. It's time to collect though. He's collected a crowd. Yeah, the sun's about 2 inches off the horizon there. Or to be more specific, about 15 minutes. It's behind the cloud right now. It's making some pretty lights over there, colors. And there's a sailboat going right in front of it. And there's the sunset as it's going to be. It's going to be pretty well behind the clouds. That's Mo.
Now we're going to do that all throughout the rest of the
I'm
show,
not sure
ladies
what
and
Mo's
gentlemen.
going to do,
So
but he's going to do
here we
something.
go. What I am going to do now is I'm going to skate on this hog tie for my dog Mo.
Mo's in charge of this show.
Walk these 2 1-inch ropes.
Now this guy's doing all the talking, but Mo's the star. Okay, this is inside the Irish pub place. We're in Irish Kevin. I can do that way. I came, I drank, I don't remember. That's the way to spend your wedding evening, walking up and down Duval. They just come out of Rick's, or I mean Sloppy Joe's. We're sitting at Rick's right across from Sloppy Joe's. That's where we're sitting. I'll let you see us. I'm not sure how to look. That pointed at you. Rebecca. And here I am. And in the background is Rick's. So we're out front where it's quiet. Well, kind of quiet. Well, kind of. Okay, that's the $3 line waiting to get in Rick's. It has been $10 with all you can drink. Now it's going down to $3. But you got to buy your booze. Well, there must be 3,000 teeny boppers up there. About 75% girls. This would be a really good place for a teeny bopper boy. There's Sloppy Joe's. It's pretty crowded. We're sitting at Rick's bar still. There's the Irish pub that's Irish in name only because the music was rock and roll. I'm not sure what this is. Well, it's 11:30. They've just now shut the road off, which is a good thing because they've taken it over 15 minutes ago. Sloppy Joe's Bar. end up trying to get in Rick's. Tuesdays, and the road's not blocked off here, but it just as well be. So there's a crowd halfway across it. There's a better view of it. Fat Tuesday. And right across from Tuesdays is the Garden Cafe, and it's full of people. That's Dad and I's place to eat cheeseburgers. And like I said, that's right across from Fat Tuesdays. And then here's the Hard Rock, but it's not doing many people. Okay, here's an Irish pub by the name of Bogart's. It's the third one I've been in tonight, and the third one that has nothing that even resembles Irish music. They're all playing rock and roll. So they're Irish in name only. Nothing inside that resembles Irish. Okay, I'm getting ready to go in Flagler Station, which is a museum on the Flagler Railroad. I just went in there and bought $120 worth of books on that and Key West. I'm getting ready to take a tour of the station. We're in the old Seaport section right near the half-shell raw bar, which is right behind that blue building, which is new. And I'm parked over there with the bicycles. This is inside the museum. Basically, it's a railroad car with pictures. Some would find it boring. I found it very interesting. Just lots of pictures. Builders, the railroad, blueprints. I think most of these pictures are in the books I bought. There's three total films. This is one that's telling about building the bridge. This is the day of arrival in Key West. Actual pictures. Here's some of the silver service on the train. A map. Some more of the dining car stuff. More pictures. Newspaper articles. Pictures. A bust of Henry Flagler. One of the brochures he had, which I bought. Pictures. More brochures and things. Postcards. More pictures. And here's a newspaper article. All about the day the first train arrived.
This sits right on the bottom of the floor today. Once the copper dam is in place, they could pour the first layer, if you will, cement on top of the floor today bottom, underwater. This floor slab was about 2 feet thick. The concrete was hardened in a few days. Then they put a copper in. So the guys would climb on down into the copper dam and start building a form for the underwater parts of the pier. This is called a lower section form. They would leave the rebar sticking out, so when the next section on top of it, line it.
So they poured a 2-foot concrete section at the bottom of the coffer dam.
They defined the bottom of these concrete arches. They would bring these in on barges and place them between the upright concrete piers. When they had it all blocked in place, they would put on the side board. The cement mixer would float in place, they would mix it up with big drums, and take it out with a scoop, a bucket, and with crews, let it on cement until they transport it over to the big road and dump the bucket. Then they would do it again. And they did this 24 hours a day. By the way, the bridges were actually hollow inside. This allowed the bridge to build railroad rock, ballast rock. I had it with ballast bed. It kept the trains from pounding the concrete pieces and made it smooth ride with people.
Okay, it's 6:20 Wednesday evening, March 15th. There I've got the bike and the van ready to go. There's the bike tied down on the trailer, and there's the van with the trailer hooked on. All I got to do is pull out and take out. We're in the southernmost motel's parking lot because ours didn't have any parking, so they sent us over here. We're at the South Beach. But anyway, we're ready to pull out in the morning. Not sure what we're going to do tonight. Well, it's Thursday morning, as you can see, March 16th of 2000. It's 7:55 a.m. local time, and we're packed and ready to go. We'll be pulling out of here shortly. Craig will be riding behind me, and Becca, I think, is the way it's going to work out. She may end up going with him. One last look out the front of our hotel. Gonna miss this place. Everything but the nightly fee. We stayed in the blurry room. Oh, there it is. 111. Second floor would really be better, but our view is still mighty fine. And we're getting ready to head out. Just a few people on the beach. There was a guy a while ago with a metal detector searching for his fortune. And just a couple other people sitting on the beach. Pretty deserted this time of the morning. This is a night town. This is not a day town. Several boats out there. Pleasure craft. And we're getting ready to cut out of here pretty quick. Well, we're driving up the Keys, and here's the part of the railroad that they never did. They built the road on top of it instead of on the railroad bed. And they built it this way because this is deep water through here, and it was cheaper to do it this way than to do it the other way that they'd been doing it. We're on the new bridge, and there's Henry's Bridge.
The road actually went over it?
Yeah, the road went on top of it. You can still see the railings up there. At 8:11. So far we put 37 miles on. We're headed for home. Okay, we're in the Everglades. We're at Buffalo River, Florida Everglades airboat ride. Learn about our river of grass. We're going to take an airboat ride here in just a minute. There's some airboats right there. And there's the outside of their little gift shop. And there's the inside of their little gift shop. Oh, come on, cocksucker, start. Here we go. We come to looking at alligator. Here's one 5 foot away. My guess is he may be a little tame. to show you how close he is. There's Beck and Craig. And there's the alligator, all in the same picture. He wants to be petted, Becca.
Yeah, like I'm not going to.
He wants to be fed. You see any food around there? Now you tell me he's not... Okay.
Come on.
The alligator is fighting the fish for the bread.
There he goes.
And this is our feeder of the alligator. So he likes bread, huh?
Yeah. He might eat cheese and crackers.
I bet he'd take it out of your hand.
I bet I wouldn't know, because I'm not going to try. I bet he'd take your hand. Look at the fish. They go mad.
The fish almost beat him to that, but he got it. Here's the airboats. There's the alligator. There he's coming back for more, and I'm not zoomed in. He's just that close. Right there. Probably 4 feet. I've got my $10 worth already.
Me too.
Oh shoot, I didn't have that going. Wonder when I got messed up. Really ate that one.
He's telling the fish to get away.
Yeah, but he didn't eat it.
He didn't eat it?
It floated under the dock.
Okay. Hey, they've been setting up
So, to me, I look at this animal like a chicken or a duck, and everybody tells me I'm crazy. The reason, brain's small like bird. It looks the same way bird does to the side. And when he walks real close to his body like bird. Lizard runs with his legs to the side. So we look at it more common with the bird than reptile. One thing, it bites a little harder than a bird. We don't have the American phrase BS. So I didn't get cussed out. I just got a good talking to about letting the children do this. Ernest Red Wing. Everybody calls me Ernie Red Wing. So my friends from Miami, they always ask me, how do I know it's a female? So I always tease them. I always tell them, lift up the tail if you don't see nothing, female. So a couple of weeks ago, I took them serious. And I go, no, they have them inside. But the way you can tell is the snout is round, it goes all the way back. The eyes round and shiny like woman. And if you look real good, she got yellow around her eyes. I call it her eyeliner. It's a lady with a dress or a black purse. You want to scratch alligator's head?
No, I don't.
So I was trying to teach people to ride with me. We try to get them to see the way we see things. We see things completely different. When we're little, we swim around alligators all of our lives. Now, they might get close enough to see what you taste like.
Is that the same one? Did she fall? No, it's a...
All you gotta do is just go over the top of the head. You can't see. Hold them like this. Get over here.
Out here?
Alligators, yeah. In the 70s, they were in bad shape, and the government clamped down. Now there's over like 1.2 something million alligators in the state of Florida.
What's
Just call her. Go like this.
What is their
Over the
average
top.
size?
Wait a minute. Over the top. Just hold it there. There you go. Just don't let that lady know that you did this. Already got chewed out. See the lady in there? People think she's my wife, but she's my boss.
Oh.
The old man went to get her something to eat. He's 80 years old now. He's Buffalo Tiger. He used to be the chief. So everybody confuses him as...
Colorful.
The male and female in this bird, same color. You go, lady. Well, maybe he don't sit. He'll jump up there. Maybe. So I always tell people this bird have a very bad mud taste. Now we don't worry about it because we eat Burger King, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken. See, everybody comes here for some reason. I guess it's because of movies. When she's probably about 7 or 8 years old now because I used to catch this one when she was little all the time. I haven't seen her in a good while. But the female alligators, when they hatch, they stay. So I always tell everybody, you come this far and you see Indian,
We're just looking at alligators along Alligator, or not Alligator Alley, but 41. They're everywhere. I'm going to pull up and I think there's one on the other side of that rock.
Okay.
Yep, see him? Little one. Oh, you don't see him? Right.
I see him, but I can't find him.
And the viewfinder.
Yeah. One of them things. There he is.
There's another one. There's another one. Okay, it just looks like woods and lake, doesn't it? Until you start looking. There's one right there watching us. And then there's one right there. And there's one, as soon as I find him, right there. And there's one. He's got his mouth open. And right down beside him is a baby. Okay, now look at this. They kind of blend in till you really get to looking. But there's one there, 2 or 3 back there, more there, and more over there. We don't know how many there are, but I'd say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's at least 8 there in that batch. And then we got some real pretty birds too. There's one there. And some white ones over here. Oh yeah, that one real pretty bird. Becca's pointing out there's a little alligator beside him. And of course, as we walk around, there's another alligator right there. And another alligator right there. I mean, they're literally just everywhere.
Well, here we go again. It's the 3rd tire that's went bad.
Yeah, we bought 2 new tires and 1 used one. Now we're buying changing our 3rd tire. After 2 new ones and a used one that we bought on this trip. The first for me.
Look, Craig looks like he's having a real good time. You can tell he's done this more than once. Think it's a record?
I know it's a record. I've been 10 years without a flat, give or take a little bit. Now 3 on 1 trip and we're not home yet.
Well, if we make it home, then you can buy the 4th and you've got another good 10 years.
Yeah. Right now I wouldn't bet on anything. Right now I wouldn't bet on anything. It's St. Pat's Day. It's Cracker Barrel, somewhere north of Atlanta by about 20-30 miles. And we just had our corned beef and cabbage for St. Pat's Day. Beck even had a bite of it, although she didn't order it. We're headed home. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're headed toward Chattanooga. Well, after 2 weeks of beautiful weather, we start home. And so far it's rained on us every day, but the first 2 days it was just light rain and not very long. But it's Saturday, it's 12 noon. We're headed across Missouri at about mile marker 179. It's been pouring on us for the last 20 miles. It's got traffic way slowed down, and it doesn't show any sign of letting up. It may rain on us all the way home, and it's cold out. I'd say lower 40s, upper 30s. But at least it's not freezing, so I guess not everything's bad. But we're happy that we had good weather while we were there, and we can put up with this weather going home. Okay, it's 3:45 p.m. Saturday. We just arrived home. Total mileage 1,683.7. That's 1,683.7. And the total driving time was 36 hours and 44 minutes. And we're starting to unload. There's the back of the van, and actually a lot of it's been unpacked. I think Beck and Craig's anxious to get out of here. There's the bikes. And you got the rundown on how long it was. There's my new tires, all 4 of them. It's the tire trip from hell. But anyway, I'm going to turn you off now and start unpacking. Trip's over. Okay, for any of you crazy enough to watch this whole thing, this is kind of an epilogue here. We've been home, about a week, a little less than a week, and you see our Mardi Gras beads. We hung them up in our living room above our TV, and that to us was one of the best places to put them where we could see them. And you can see there's the ones we bought and the extra long ones. We kind of hung them there. And then you go across and there's the ones that have all the medallions, the ones that tell about the different parades and stuff. That's one of Sheila's favorites, Bacchus. Sheila wanted me to put it in front. And this next row is the same things. And of course this was Mardi Gras 2000. And as you go on across, there's some just a little bit longer beads. And there's some shorter beads. And I don't even begin to know how many we've got. There's some fancy beads. And there's the end of them. And we got all different colors and shapes and sizes and that type of thing. So again, that's the beads. And these are all beads that we caught. This is looking at them from the back of the room, where we sit, where we watch TV. And they added a little something to the room there in the way of color. Anyway, this is the end.